How did you get into acting? Because, like, for me, when I was younger, I used to watch SNL, and I was like, "That's
Mhm.
going to be something I want to do one day." And then
Right.
I realized that you actually have to go out and act. And then I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll
Mhm.
do like stand up." And then I was like, "That means you have to have material." And then
Mhm.
people were like, "Well, you can talk." And I was just like, "Well, then maybe I'll just do a talk show." And they're like, "Who's going to watch that?" And I'm just like, I don't know, but we'll try." But like, what got
Right.
you into the acting bug?
Uh, I always say that it kind of found me, man. Like it was just an inevitability.
Yeah.
Truthfully, like I've always been blessed or cursed with the gift of the gab, right? Depending on who you talk to, and who was in charge of raising me that day, like whether it's my mom or my dad or whatever,
Yeah.
like whoever was off work that day and had to take me like on the TTC on the public transit to
Yeah.
a doctor's appointment, had to like sit there and listen to a little chatty 4-year old for 2.5 straight hours. Like I never stopped talking. My parents would say, never stop talking. So as I grew up as a young kid, I thought that I'd parlay that gift of the gab into being a lawyer, a litigator of some sort. I was sort of always fascinated with the law and whatnot. But as time went by, I was more drawn to plays. Like I did my first play in fifth grade, and people seemed to like it, and I was actually good at it. And I did another one in eighth grade. I did Oklahoma, singing and dancing as
Okay.
Parker in Oklahoma, and that went over really well. And then I went to Arts High School, and that went well. Like girls seemed to like me because I was a good actor. So I was like, oh, I can get girls by being an actor. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to theater school, and I did that. And one thing just led to another. And once you graduate from theater school, it kind of behooves you, like you have to try. You've graduated with a BFA. You got to at
Yeah.
least go out and get an agent and try your hand in the real world. And by the grace of God, here I still am. A couple of decades later. So, as I said, it's just always been the path. I come from a blue collar family, man, and you know, being an actor isn't really the first thing that you'd think of to put food on the table.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's as I said, it's just worked out. It's just really worked out for me. And I always thought that I'd do theater school, or at least maybe go to university for a real career, quote unquote. Be a an engineer, or be a lawyer or something like that, and then maybe pursue acting. But the acting thing just always kept coming back around, and it was undeniable. And you know, had to give it a shot, and it's worked out.